Facebook fans, family, friends. Love you all. How are you going? What are we up to? About week 3 of our lock-in, and learning so much and having to be challenged and shifting and going with the flow. And that's what I wanted to share today about my experience with going from online with my workshops to going offline. And I wanted to share this because I listened to other people that have done it, and I got so much value from them that helped me then with mine. So if I can share any tips and tools of what I learned, what to do, what not to do, that I can help somebody else that's going online, that's really what I want to do. And I'm using a new format here, so I can't actually see if there's any comments or anything. I don't know how to do that anyway. So I'll just ramble away and just share. I wrote a few notes to share what I learned. So I've been doing my half-day workshop, 7 Steps for Permission to Receive, for nearly 2 years now, and they've been absolutely incredible. I just love them. It's such a beautiful space for vulnerability. We do lots of quite deep inner child work, going into the subconscious mind, which is creating our reality 95% of the day. And when we can tap into that, we can really change who we are, release our fears, those limiting beliefs that are there, and then transform and really be living that life and that we desire, and also accessing the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the relaxation response. Our body is so wired to fear, and we have to learn how to relax. This time right now is a beautiful time to learn how to relax, because we're in a pressure cooker and all of our subconscious fears are really coming up. And where they actually come from is childhood, and this is a beautiful time for us to do that inner work and release those fears so that we can anchor that parasympathetic nervous system and become addicted to love, addicted to pleasure, addicted to joy, and addicted to feeling safe and peaceful from within, and having certainty within when there's so much uncertainty without in our existing environment. So yeah, I've been doing them for 2 years and it's been incredible. Absolutely love it. And I was quite nervous, quite anxious this week, thinking, oh God, and I'm such a people person. I love hugging people, and I love creating that beautiful safe space for everybody to grow and learn and heal. And I had my concerns, like, how do I create that online? That beautiful, safe environment for people to share and be vulnerable. And so I watched my thoughts, and I just thought, I've just got to go with it and trust it's all going to work out. And just sat with my fears as well and my limiting beliefs. So I had a limiting belief around that you couldn't create online that beautiful environment offline. And did I say that right? You know what I mean? And I am so grateful that it was a limiting belief, because you can create that environment, that safe, beautiful space, just as beautifully online as offline. And what I learnt to do was I suppose I took a longer time in the introductions at the start, where I get everybody to share. So another tip is you have everybody's camera on the Zoom. So camera, their face, you can see them, their video. And I actually got everyone to mute themselves and then just take themselves off mute. So I did that because I said, you're all amazing adults, you've got this. And I feel like that saved me as well, and another job to do, so that I had everything calm, and I that wasn't another thing that I had to sort of manage, and everyone was incredible at that. And so what I did is I opened up the space, and we probably spent half an hour, which I probably wouldn't do in a workshop, is where everyone just shared a bit about themselves, and it's so that everyone feels comfortable in that beautiful space. And also I always get everyone to share something amazing about themselves, because that's to get them into their heart, into vulnerability, because we're very good at saying how amazing other people are, but not so good at ourselves. And so really just setting that safe space was powerful. Another thing, I listened to beautiful Natasha Denman. I learned so much from her over the weekend, listening to her tips and tools for doing her workshops. She's incredible. She does, I don't know, 5 and a hit or something, 4 or 5. She did all over in America. Absolutely inspirational. She was my mentor for when I wrote my book. So I'm so grateful to listen and learn from her. Another tip that she said was to have a background. So we've made a beautiful background with so I've got my beautiful clients there and the Success on Purpose logo, and because I'm not home, I haven't got the usual stuff that I have, but we've made this up, so that was beautiful. So that was a really good tip from her, just to have a bit of a backdrop, something there. Most people probably have already got bits and pieces. But I didn't plan on I'm back at my parents' house. I didn't plan on being here for quite so long. I came back for a visit and here I've stayed. So I don't have all those bits and bobs that I would usually have. What else? Yeah, and I think a biggest lesson for me was that I can this is why I learned to receive, because I'm such a giver. I'm always learning to have that balance of giving and receiving. And I realized that I had a lot of fluff because I love to give. I've got these booklets that I've made for everyone that they have. I have a beautiful workshop environment. I provide morning tea, and I love to give all those extra bits and pieces. And I realized that I couldn't do that this time. And so I had to trust and step into good enough. I am good enough. Everyone's there for this beautiful safe space to share and learn and grow from me and each other, and that I don't need all the fluff that's behind it. And so, yeah, that was a really good realization for me as well, is that I am enough. My journey, everything I've been through, everything I've learned from the metaphysics, the spiritual, the science behind it, and the inner child work and bringing it all together is what actually people are there for. The value is totally there, and I don't need all that other fluff in the background that I had so much. And I just watched my thoughts over the week, because I was thinking, oh God, how's this, and then I'm going, oh, the computer, oh, the Zoom. Oh, I usually have a whiteboard where I just explain all the brain and chart it all, and I thought, how am I going to do that? But the thing is you just ask, don't you? Ask the questions from people ahead that have done that. And so I did. And I found and practiced with beautiful Andrew Komenos, my coach. He helped me on Zoom, that there's a what's it called? A whiteboard that you can just draw on there. So I had to go at that last night and mucked about, and it wasn't the most pretty circles or anything, but they got the gist of it, what I was explaining, the neuro nets, the neuro pathways, the brain and everything. It was good. It was good. And I managed to just change it up a little bit, where I usually share and a slide, and then I would go onto my whiteboard. I couldn't do it this time, so I just had to do a whole lot of slides at once, and then and so just revise things a little bit. One of the things I will say that was quite challenging was that I was talking like I'm doing now. Is I was talking to myself, because when you're on the gallery, you can see everyone at the start, but then when you start sharing the slides, you can't see. I could only see one person. I couldn't see everybody. So I'm just rattling away to myself, and I couldn't see anyone, which is quite challenging, because I love being able to connect with people, see people. I can see them just having aha moments right in front of my eyes, and that just gives me so much joy. So I just had to feel into that, feel the energy rather than actually seeing it. So I suppose what I'm learning from this as well is that this is heightening my intuition, because I got this sense of eyes, so I have to really use my other senses, and in the feeling, the intuition is a big one as well. So that was, interesting, just rattling away. But then after I came back, and I was like, okay, any comments around that? And people were like, wow, yeah, thank you so much for explaining that. Wow, that all makes sense. And yeah, that resonates, and yada, yada, yada. So it went really well. And then, another thing around my thoughts was I just started to watch what was coming in, and then I chose, instead of going down that that, hi, does this work? Someone's there. How are you? Hi. Mwah. Instead of going down the thoughts pathway of worry, concern, what if, then I made a choice and I chose to step into possibility. What if it did work out? What if it was amazing? And I suppose another thing about me is I do love being uncomfortable. I do love stepping out of my comfort zone. I do love that bit of anxiety. You get that nervousness of growth and trying new things. So I certainly was there this morning feeling quite nervous about it, and it all worked out really beautifully. I actually feel quite on a high. It was really good. And the beautiful thing about this is that I'm going to do another one soon. I usually do them every month, but I'm going to probably look at 2 weeks or 3 weeks, scheduling them in, because I've had a lot of people ask that are national. So over in Western Australia and places. So now they don't have to come and fly over here, and I don't have to fly over there. We can do it online, which is incredibly exciting. So I'm so glad that the universe has forced us, pushed us into changing it up sooner than I probably had wanted to. And I don't know whether I actually would have done this, to be honest, because I'm such a people person. I love to be with people, but I'm pleased that now I get to provide more of a value and service to other people in other parts of the world, which is exciting. Another thing I'd like to say is, how do you schedule the timing of it? And my answer to that is what feels right for you. Because I had one mentor saying to cut it back, to do it for a 2.5-hour workshop. And I think that's probably what put the anxiety into me the most. I felt really anxious because I thought, how the hell am I going to fit 4 hours of content and into 2.5 hours? And I've been quite busy with other parts, my one-on-ones, my webinars and everything, and I didn't have time to just go and organise a whole new workshop. So what I did was I just had to feel into what's my truth, what's right for me, and I thought makes me feel quite anxious to think about putting 4 hours into 2.5 that I won't be able to provide enough safe space and value for people. So I checked in, and what felt right for me was 4 hours, to do the actual 4 hours. And I'm so pleased I did. And there was, of course, a fear that then people will drop off, but that didn't happen at all. And I felt like it actually helped people, because then the ones that have the children at home, that they could have a break halfway through. So we had a break of 20 minutes and people could go and check on their kids and everything, have a water break, everything, regroup, and then come back. So I found that was really valuable, and I'm so pleased that I didn't try to condense it and fit it all in to a shorter period, and then people could be more present, have more time, and I didn't feel like I was rushed as well. So that's my tip as well for your whatever workshops you've already got running, is that, do what's true for you. If you've got time to change it up, maybe great, but if you've got a formula that works, which mine does, and so I just wanted to keep it that. So I'm actually pleased I did. What that meant though was sending out last minute email. So on Tuesday we sent out last minute emails to say that we've actually mixed it up to a 4-hour workshop rather than the 2.5 hour. So I had a little bit of anxiety around that, but I'm really pleased I did. It actually, it worked out. Another thing, so I said about that. And then Calendly, the beautiful Calendly link to then chat to people after. So I was able to have a Calendly link already set up. I've got like a 15-minute, a 30-minute and a 60-minute. So we're able to put that in the chat box then, and then people can actually click through and then book in to have a chat with you after. So because when you're there in person, people come up and they, and I have scheduled times, people can come up after the workshop and have a chat. And so obviously you haven't got that there because you're not in person. So the Calendly link was really good. So I totally recommend that, having the Calendly link, and then people can just book in. I had people straight after book in, and then they can also book in the future as well. So that was really incredible. Yeah, I think that's all my points really. So, yeah, I just wanted to really share that because to help others that have the anxieties around it, and also to remember that I shared this with another friend yesterday who was doing an online event, and she was also feeling quite anxious about it. And I said, just remember that no one has any expectations. We only put the expectations and the pressure on ourselves. And everyone's there just to grow and learn. They don't know what's going to happen. They've never done it before. And then if they have done it before, which I had a couple, well, one that had actually done it, she had done it before. But I had a chat with her after, and it was great. She just went deeper. And so, yeah, it's just knowing that we put the pressure on ourselves, really nobody else does. And this is a really good opportunity I'm finding to get out of my own way and just to get my brain, my limitations, my perfectionism all out of the way to be in service to help people, which has really been really great. The one thing I'm still yet to work on, I'd love any tips if anyone has them, is how to manage I find I get heavy legs. I find all this energy comes in, and after my workshops, my legs feel quite heavy, and I go for a walk after just to shift it through. I must ask my mentor about that as well. So maybe what I could do is, because I'm obviously not walking around where I'm walking around when I'm in a workshop, and then you're just moving the energy through, which obviously you can't do sitting down, or maybe I could do halfway through or each quarter, stand up, do a dance. I don't know. Actually, that would work. I do like music and dancing. So yeah, that's something else I'm learning about. And so just trying to look now about how I can, get out there, support more people. And yeah, well, people keep saying, well, now you can go international, now you can do this, and now you can do that. It's like, oh, wow, yeah, I can actually. So, yeah, just looking at, I suppose, what else is out there, what else is possible. And, yeah, excited now. I'm glad I've done one. And now next week I've got another event. I think I've got a couple. I've got my meetup, which will be, I'm glad I've had a run of it, because that'll be an interviewing type thing. And then the next thing for me is I have to look into chat rooms. Apparently there's chat rooms that you can use on Zoom where people can actually corner off and go into their own little chat rooms and do an activity and then come back and share. So that's the next thing I have to look at. So if there's anyone out there that's already done that, I'd love to hear. Be really grateful. We'll work that out. So that's all I wanted to share today. So all the best. And if anyone has any anxieties, if you want to chat around it, really love to help and support and learn, so that it fast tracks fast tracks your process and your progress. And just to take away that limiting belief as well, that it's not as good online as offline, because that's not true at all. Actually, it's equally effective, and I think it's probably very powerful, because, and I also found that there was two people that had to go. One lady had technical issues with her computer. She couldn't get that all set up. And one guy had to go. He was working as well. But generally everyone was really beautiful, and they were all engaged and listening. And, I think there is something really powerful as well about just being in the comforts of home, being in your own home environment. Never a better time to be learning and working on self and releasing these fears and limiting beliefs, so we can step into new possibilities, which is exciting. So much love to you all. Thank you. I don't know if there's anyone else there. Hope that's, I'm sure it will be, because I know when I listened to Natasha, it was really helpful. I just find it's those simple things that you're able to implement that can create such a big difference. So much love to you all. Have a beautiful rest of the week, and see you next week. Bye.